Hey there. Today we're going to talk about conversation frameworks that work. The model that we're going to be using today is something we call the four quadrants. And this is a conversation framework that's going to take your coaching client, whatever client, and move them from the positive present into the negative present, into the negative future, and then up to the positive future, right? And so in our industry, or really anytime you're coaching somebody, you're leading to a certain outcome. And generally, if you're doing the best thing here, you're leading the person you're talking to their desired outcome. And we're going to start positive in positive. The important thing is we're going to stay here for a minute because this is what does a lot of the heavy lifting in the conversation. So when you start in the positive presence and you're sitting across the table from somebody having this conversation, you're asking the question why we're here, right? Today we're meeting and we're going through a conversation and there is a why behind the meeting. We're going to talk about things that are working well, right? Their goals is a big part of that. These aren't your goals for them. These are goals that they've set out to accomplish, that they've shared with you, where you are a system of support and accountability. And then we're going to talk about and spend a lot of time on their wins, celebrating what's working, what's going well, where they feel they're in a sweet spot. And then from that part of the conversation, you're going to lead in a little bit into the negative present. This is where somebody like me, who's a high optimist, tends to struggle. I don't want to sit in the negative, right? I don't like being in the pain. I want to go straight from here to here. Sometimes you have to fight that urge, especially if you know that you're an optimist or that you like staying in the positive. But for us to really get somewhere today, to do some heavy lifting, to get your client or whoever you're talking to a place where they feel like they've got a positive future, then we're also going to spend some time in the negative. And so once you talk about what's working, you're going to ask the question, well, what needs to change? Clearly, we're meeting, we're having a conversation, and we're going to have one, and we're going to be open and honest and transparent about, okay, we're going to audit the whole thing, not just the good parts, but hey, what does need to change? And then that's going to lead you into a conversation about gap. Whenever we have goals and we set out to accomplish those goals, we create kind of a system in which to do that, right? And when we are behind on the goal, there's a gap. And so you're going to speak to that gap. You're going to sit in that gap for a minute. And then you're going to ask them if it's okay to coach them, to have the conversation to help them understand and help yourself even understand where this is at, where they are at. So goals and gap, you're going to go into coaching. And then you're going to talk about what are you not getting? Whether that's support, accountability, results, whatever it is, we're going to have a conversation about what they're not receiving that they thought they would, right? And that will help also explain the gap. Then we're going to talk about the negative future, right? So when we sit down and we plan, this big grand plan about our goals, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, generally there's a big why attached. And that big why is going to involve them personally, most likely people they care about. And so when you move the conversation into the negative future, you're going to talk about and reference what needs to change. And then you're going to ask the question, well, what if nothing changes? What happens if we keep going down this pathway? And that question right there does a ton of heavy lifting. I'm sure you guys are thinking right now, oh, I've got something in my life that needs to change. And you just ask yourself, well, what if nothing changes? Same thing will happen across the table with a client or somebody who you're coaching. They're going to wonder, okay, yeah, what if nothing changes? I don't think they're going to be happy with that result. And then you kind of go even deeper. And you're going to say, what happens to your family? What happens to your loved ones if nothing changes? If we stay here and we move into that continued negative future. And then you're going to have a conversation and ask some questions. Okay, well, what will happen if we don't hit these goals that you set over here? And results we're not getting over here. What will you lose? And you're going to make them think about the pain or imagine what it would look like for a negative future. And then because we love and we care about these people, we're going to bring them out of that and have a conversation about positive future. There's a better way. We're going to talk about a system, a model, accountability, or strategies to get to a place where it's a positive future and they don't have to go here. They can go straight from here to here. We're going to discuss what success looks like for them, create another plan, create more accountability, and set the next conversation. What will it do for your family? Just like we asked in negative future, we're going to ask them what would happen to them, their family, and their loved ones with a positive future. If things do change, if this does work out the way we all want it to. And then you're going to work on closing. Close that conversation, wrap it up, and make sure you're leading your client to the desired outcome, not just for you, but where they want to be. So that is the conversation framework of the 4 quadrants, and it works pretty much every time.